Hello, 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 Facebook family and friends. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing well. Well, I know it's been a little bit since I've done one, but this is Wisdom Walk number 75. Wow, 3/4 of a century. Wisdom Walk number 75, the meaning of life. I kind of thought about this one a little bit. Normally I don't do a lot of thinking about them, but I kind of thought about this a little bit this morning because someone made a post, made a comment, actually sent me a direct message. I'll share that a little bit later into the Wisdom Walk yesterday, and it kind of inspired me to do this Wisdom Walk this morning. So it is absolutely gorgeous out here in Southern California. A little bit chilly, but it's okay. And let's jump right in. So as we're born, we don't have this mindset yet of what life's all about. I mean, we're little babies. We don't know what's going on. And we have these two people that, gave birth to us. Well, one gave birth to us, mom and dad. And we're cherishing the relationship we have with them as we grow. And we really don't know what life's about yet. We don't know anything about it. As we start growing up, I mean, we look at those little shiny objects that I talk about, and you run to the little shiny objects when you're a little baby or a toddler, and we put ourselves in a position that now we have to learn, and we're learning from our parents, we're learning from our friends, our community, and we really don't know what the full meaning of life is. We see some people living better lives than others, especially now in the days of social media. We didn't have that when I was a kid. But we see all these different things, and you kind of don't really, to me, the meaning of life has been kind of like lost in the new generation because nobody really knows what the purpose is. And today I'm going to kind of break down my purpose. I'm going to break down my thoughts about it. It may be offensive to some people, but if you want to listen, you can kind of take pieces out of it if you choose. Don't, or keep scrolling. It's up to you, whichever way it works. So you go through this process. You're going to school and your parents are teaching you. And a lot of us as parents, what we don't realize is our children look at us and they look at everything we do because that formulates the meaning of life to them. Because they don't fully understand. They're still young. They don't know. So they're formulating their perception of life through us as mom and dad. And in some sad situations, in fact, many sad situations, unfortunately, that family unit gets broken way too early in children's lives, and they grow up with one parent, or they're growing up with grandparents. So it changes the dynamics and changes their perception of life. Because again, they're watching the people that are raising them. And you go through that process. As I look back on my life when I was growing up, my dad was my hero because my mom left when I was a baby. I think you guys kind of heard that story already. So I didn't really understand. And I grew up thinking the housekeeper was actually my mom because I didn't know any different. So it's interesting, the things that as you grow, you're learning. And you don't really fully understand. And we don't know the meaning of why we're here, what we're doing. So then you go through the process. Now you're going through school. And, the dating situation starts, and as you look for that significant other, depends. And if you went through the process of a broken home, you hear some of the stories of women having daddy issues. Well, hey, guys have mommy issues too. I was one of them. So you go through that process of still trying to find the meaning in life of what all that means. So now you're getting your schooling, your education, you're coming into your own, you're coming into the situation of Now employment now plays a part. You have to now support yourself. You've grown up watching how your parents or parent supported themselves, and you've learned from them. You've also learned from your community. You've learned from people around you. And unfortunately, for most, the parents or the people around you live in a bubble of not understanding how the world and how everything works. Because one of the things they don't teach in school, which I saw a couple of articles that they're going to start teaching, financial literacy in schools, and I couldn't be more happier about that. What an amazing thing. So you're not taught that, and now you enter the workforce. This time you may have a significant other you're dating, or testing the feel, seeing who makes you happy, which is the biggest mistake we can make as humans, is trying to find someone to make you happy, because nobody can make you happy but yourself. I can find someone that can make me smile. I can find someone that can make me feel good, but I can't find someone that'll make me happy. So you go through that process, whether or not you get married at an early age and you start your own family. But at some point in time, you're now working, putting yourself through having to pay bills, maybe become a homeowner, trying to live that American dream. And as I sit back and I think about it, as I get older in years and been through all of the things, you kind of figure, what is it all about? Is it about, getting that bigger home? Or, as you can see, a lot of people show in social media, the car you drive, the neighborhood you're in, the type of clothes you wear, the designer bags or the designer shoes or whatever. And it's interesting to me, you see some people make comments, and everybody has their own opinion because of how they're brought up, like how I started the Wisdom Walk. But hey, wealthy people wear regular clothes and jeans. They don't look rich, but the poorer people try to look rich. Look, people can look however they want to. Look, if you want to go drop 10 grand in a bag, go drop 10 grand in a bag. If you want to go drop $500,000 in a car, go drop $500,000 in a car. You do whatever you want to do. I never judge people for what they want to do, how much they want to spend. Oh, Warren Buffett lives in the same house that he did when he was whatever. Then good for Warren Buffett. That's what he wants to do. Let everyone decide what they want to do. The only difference is I have no problem buying a $500,000 car or a $10,000 bag or whatever. But the difference is I'm not going to use my money to do it, because if it was up to my money, I'm buying nothing. I ain't buying nothing. I will look. That little statement that you hear about where they said, wealthy people wear t-shirts and jeans and they don't spend their money and stuff. I get it, because I ain't spending my money on it. But fortunately, a few years ago, I learned that I can put a suit and tie in my money and send my money out to work. And if my money wants to give me 10 grand to go buy a bag, then I go buy the bag, because it ain't my 10 grand. Now, some of you may say, well, that doesn't make sense, Clay, because you can use that 10 grand to make more money. Yeah, you can, but you also want to enjoy life. So you do whatever. I mean, I'm not going to weigh in on expensive things, not expensive things, red bottoms, whatever. You do whatever you want to do. My thought is if you're putting yourself in a position where you really can't afford that stuff and you're putting it on a credit card, or you have to work a job and a half to just buy some red bottoms, then you got some issues. Something's wrong with your moral compass. Something's definitely wrong. But look, if your money is making you, there are some days I have 6-figure days. If you have a 6-figure day and you want to go drop $1,000 on a pair of shoes, then go drop $1,000 on a pair of shoes. It ain't your money anyway. And you do whatever you think works for you. And that's how I live my life, because my scenario is I want to live life on my own terms. So let's get back to, you're at the point where now you're starting your career and you're putting yourself, try to climb that corporate ladder. Maybe at this time you get married, and now a couple kids are coming in, and guess what? Those kids get to, the whole cycle is starting all over. Those kids now get to look at you, look at what you're doing, just like you looked at what your parents are doing. And they make decisions based on the scenario around them and what they see you do. So to me, the meaning of life is not, what type of car you drive, what type of home you have, is what are you planning on doing with your life? What's the meaning of life to you? Is the meaning of life to you showing to friends and family and people on social media that you'll never meet and you don't even know that you're balling out of control? That gives you purpose, that makes you feel good? If that does, then that's on you. There's no rule book on how you live your life. So if that's what makes you feel good and that motivates you in the morning to get up, that's great. Me personally, if you're trying to buy something and you can't pay cash for it, or you don't have 5 times the amount of the purchase put away somewhere, maybe you shouldn't buy it. I don't believe in credit cards. Well, I believe in credit cards that you can use them to get mileage and then pay them off every month. But paying interest rates for credit cards is how they keep the poor, and that's how it is. So you get to make that decision of what you want to do in your scenario. But for me, I will make my money go to work for me before I buy anything. And then whatever my money produces, then I can make those decisions and have some luxury items. Because look, you only live once. And if you enjoy living in a nice home and driving a nice car, it's great. It's a great feeling. I don't own one, but my wife owns a Rolls Royce. I bought it for her for her birthday, and it's a great feeling to drive that car. You don't hear anything. The ride, you feel like you're driving a cloud. So maybe that's not your thing. It's okay if it's not your thing, okay? But at some point in time, whether you find it, and I wish I found it in my 20s or my 30s or my 40s, but I didn't find it till I was in my 50s. But you have to find a purpose. And to me, that's what the meaning of life is. So I kind of said all that to kind of break down what I think, what my belief of meaning to life is. And my meaning to life is doing something significant, leaving the world. And this is all of this was brought down just at this point, leaving the world a better place than you found it. And to me, that is what it's all about. So are you leaving the world? Are you putting yourself in a position where you're leaving the world in a better place? And when I say the world, I'm talking about your family, your kids, your grandchildren, your legacy, the next generation, because we only have one life to live. Hopefully you make it to 80, 90, 100. But once you start hitting 70s, 80s, you're pretty much in the end. It's about done. So at that time is when some people start getting their thought processes together and they start saying, what was life all about? One of the things I think I said in one of my wisdom walks before is, you want to find the most dreams and the most ambition in the world? Go to the cemetery. That's where they all are. Because a whole bunch of people had a whole bunch of dreams and aspirations, and it died with them because they never did anything about it. So I recommend, and I suggest, and I hope that I've inspired people enough to want to make this decision at an earlier age than I did, because I had no one mentoring me, no one teaching me, no one doing lives like this, wisdom walks, a community that we have made to help people have a better scenario in life, even though we're misunderstood. I mentioned at the start of this, I'm misunderstood because I had someone that have never messaged me before, don't even know who the person is, send me a message yesterday, a messenger, and saying, you need to stop bragging and start feeding hungry children. And I have a part of my personality is, if someone tries to attack me, I attack back very quickly, and then I just do 1 + 1 = 5, which means I really don't care what you have to say, but I have to get one word in. So it's like I got to get that one punch. So my punch back was to him is, dude, you have no idea who you're talking to, so you can go, and I use some powerful language. I said, but here's the best part. Facebook has a block button. Use it. So obviously he did. So it's interesting. Whatever he saw on my social media made him feel like I'm bragging, but he missed all those other things, like feeding the homeless, building a community to help everybody empower themselves to live their best life, giving out thousands upon thousands of dollars every time I leave the house for the last 2 years to people I don't know. But anyway, so at one point, you have to make that decision. What is the meaning of life for you? Is the meaning of life only to drive nice cars, have boats, airplanes, homes, private islands? Or is it to leave the world a better place than you found it? And again, at a later time in my life, I'm not sure what made me do that. I think God anointed me to do it because it's something I enjoy doing. And I just decided, hey, this is going to be the purpose of my life from now on. The purpose of my life is to give back, is to help people get to that scenario. So as you do that, you have to think about your offspring. You have to think about your family that you brought into this world. So as I grow this empire I'm trying to grow, I'm thinking about my oldest grandchild, Lincoln, his brother, his cousin, and hopefully there's a fourth one coming soon. I'm hoping, they're trying. And I'm thinking about what world are they going to live in? What would be their opportunities? What would be their scenario? So a little bit over 2 years ago, I started documenting my path to becoming a billionaire. And I do all these lives. And one day, Lincoln and his brother and his cousin will see some of these lives. And I think probably at this moment, right now, I know how old he'll be when he's seeing this. He could be 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old. I think there'll probably be a little bit of tears that'll pop in his eyes when he hears granddad or his kids hear great-granddad or great-great-granddad speaking this way about them in 2023, and it's now 2080. So to me, that's the significance of life. That is what life's all about, is leaving something to last generations, putting yourself in a position to leave a legacy that continues and goes from generation to generation. And not only, now anyone, hey, a lot of wealthy people have left their kids a lot of money. It's kind of like the lottery syndrome, I call it. You can, in fact, I just saw an 18-year-old in California just hit the $45 million lottery. First lottery ticket she ever bought. And she was 18 years old. Statistics show within 2 years, she's going to be broke. She won't have anything left. Because I guarantee you, no, I shouldn't use the word guarantee, but there's a very good chance that she has learned for those 18 years what her parents have taught her. Whether they physically think they were teaching her, but as a parent, your actions is a teacher. Let me repeat that for those of you in the back of the room. Your actions are a teacher. You may not be thinking you're teaching, but your actions speaks louder than words. I'm sure you've heard that statement. So whatever actions they've had in their lifetime is going to put her in a position where she cannot handle that $45 million. No one in school has taught her, educated her, and what to do with that $45 million. Whatever financial advisors that will come crawling to her, trying because they have their ulterior motives to steal money from her, will go ahead and do that situation also. So I feel really, really sorry for that young lady. She may think that she is on top of the world right now. The devastation that she's about to ask you as a parent, what are you leaving? What are you teaching your children? And are you putting them in a position to have that devastation? And I hope the answer to that is no. But in most cases, the answer to that is yes. This is why I have a purpose-driven life. Wow, that was a long, sorry I lost you guys there. That was long. I guess signal's not great here. Anyway, I hope you put yourself in a position to educate your kids of the things. That's what I'm trying to do. So I lost you guys for a second. I'm so sorry. That threw me off. Anyway, so my scenario in my life now is I'm trying to give everyone the tools so you can live that life. You may not be able to articulate everything yet, especially if you're new in our group, but as it grows, because I would say in 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, I've taught everyone probably 15% of what you need to know. I haven't even begun yet. There's so much more that I need to teach you, but I go in stages. It's kind of like that movie, The Karate Kid. Danielson, sure, waxed a lot of cars. And for those of you older, younger generation wouldn't understand this. Waxed a lot of cars and painted a lot of fences. But he was getting muscle memory. So all I do is I teach in our system with the mindset training, the muscle memory that it's going to take to get you and deliver you to where I'm trying to deliver you to, if God's willing to spare my life enough years to continue doing this quest. So to me, the quest is the purpose of life is to leave a legacy. The purpose of life is to leave the world a better place than you met it, than when you entered. And to me, that's where you become significant. To me, that's what makes the difference. So as we continue this and continue the scenario of showing you all these things, you get to learn this. You get to see it. You get to see it. We just made a little pivot move in the last couple of weeks in our group that now, instead of continuing investing all the different platforms we have, which some are good, some are not, but we follow our rule, just like in life. There are bad schools, there are good schools. There are good jobs, there's bad jobs. There's good stocks, there's bad stocks. I mean, that's how the world's been. There's day and day. So there's really no difference than what we do. So anyway, so here I am. I've arrived back. For those of you that's been watching me for a while, I think you guys saw the pond situation and the backyard situation. So I want to give you guys a little update. Beautiful flowers now. And yes, it's a bit cold, so the koi just sit there and do nothing all day until I feed them. And then they start moving around, but they just lay there in hibernation. So, but beautiful view today. It's absolutely gorgeous. I hope today reach some of you. I hope today makes you think. I hope the number one thing I would like you to get out of this, lots of points, but the one that I would, if I had to pick just one, I want you to understand that your education of your children is not verbal. Your education of your children is what you do. And they watch you every single day, every single move, everything you do, they're watching. Love you all. Have a great day. Take care.